All right, we are live for round one, session 4 of the first ever Clarity DAO pitch competition. We are excited to bring 4 unique and awesome DAOs to be presenting for you today. But before we get started, I will give a little brief intro on Clarity and what we're all about and why we're doing this type of stuff. So, welcome to round one, session 4. Like I said, we're excited to have everyone here. Thank you to the panelists for taking time in their busy days to listen to these pitches from these early stage DAOs that are building on Cardano. And really, I like to just start these pitch competitions out with, what Clarity is all about and why we're doing this. So our massive transformative purpose as a protocol and as an ecosystem is to enable decentralized innovation. That's why we're building these non-technical tools so anyone can kind of put on-chain governance and implement it into their projects. And we think it's going to be, decentralization will be a really big part of the future that helps to innovate existing systems. And our vision is that we believe human prosperity will be decided at the intersection of cutting-edge technology, transparency, and human collaboration. When we first got into this, we often thought about, what's the real impact blockchain can have? And we really do think that it can, be this new technology that can push transparency to where it needs to be and allow humans to collaborate on a global scale like never before. And we're excited about that. And our mission is to make equitable global financial and governance systems more accessible. We think this will be an important part of the future as well. And with these 3 guiding principles, we're excited to be bringing to market the products and services that we will in the next few months. Here's the bracket. We have so far had session 1, session 2, session 3, and session 4. Or session 4 is happening right now. We're excited to hear from these DAOs today. And just a little update on the prize pot. We're 278 NFTs away from the prize pot going from 5,000 ADA to 15,000 ADA. So I encourage everyone to let their communities know that they can get the NFT and have influence in the DAO pitch competition and in the broader Clarity ecosystem as we have more and more bounties as time goes on. So without further ado, one thing I'll do right before we move on to the introductions is this is what it looks like to participate in the DAO pitch competition. So you can come to clarity.community. You can go to NFT, you can mint our NFT. Once they're in your wallet, you can go to our governance tab. And what you can do is you connect your wallet. And after you do that, it'll show your voting power in the top right-hand corner. So I have 2 on this one. And you can click into all of these different DAO pitch competitions that are happening. And the DAO that gets the most votes will reach the final. So here you can see School DAO already in front with 12 votes. That is awesome. But these will be open until November 10th. When that will be decided. So without further ado, I would like to invite all of the panelists that are here to come off mute and give a brief introduction about who they are. And yeah, that would be awesome. There we go. So we'll start with Ben, move down the list to Chris, and then Damon, and Luke, and Isaac.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Ben Hart. I'm the director of Cardano operations at MLabs. Happy to be here.
Ben, so brief, says it all. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Borders, lawyer by training, and I've been working in blockchain since 2017, and presently work with a number of Cardano projects, including Clarity, and DeFi projects, Sunday Swap, Indigo, and Liquid. Yeah, happy to be here and happy to hear some more exciting pitches from folks.
Hello. Thanks, Chris, for your good intro there. Very well ingrained man, as Christopher is. My name is Damon Zwarch. I am CMO and many other things, as well as co-founder for Charlie 3 Oracles. I'm glad that there's some actual pitch competitions happening in this space right now, because otherwise they're usually pretty hard to find and get involved with. So great job to the Clarity team on getting this together. Excited to see and hear what you guys have coming up. Maybe we can even help out.
Thanks, Damon. Luke DeWilde. I lead Web3 and corporate development / venture at the Golden State Warriors. Looking forward to seeing what everyone has to share.
And Is Isa here? Looks like she's not. So with that, I will open the floor up to Robert and School DAO. You have 5 minutes to pitch, then we'll give 5 minutes to have some Q&A, and then we'll move on to the next DAO. Just to make sure everyone knows, at first it will be School DAO, then we'll move on to Rat DAO, then we'll move on to Esmira, and then Triput. So go for it, Robert.
All right, thank you. Now let's get this presentation up here. Let's see, can everyone see that all right?
Sure can.
All right. Okay, so just a brief introduction. So we're our actual school. We've been functioning for around 8 years, and we're one of many schools that are a very good fit for decentralized education and decentralized monetary systems coming together in the form of a DAO. And so this presentation will describe a little bit about the DAO itself and the school as well, and end with a few of our challenges, and then we'll be open for questioning. So just to start off, the need for a school DAO, and we have been functioning for 8 years, and it's been fine. It's essentially been as far as we could get towards having a DAO without being a DAO, so to say. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and as you'll see, we're structured in such a way that we are as decentralized as we currently can be. And with School DAO, we could further that cause and go as far as we can possibly get within the limitations of society as we know it. So there are a few different levels of need represented by School DAO. And, the first is to kind of usher schools into an age where all members of the community feel, did the presentation disappear? Let's see.
Yes.
It did? Okay, sorry about that. I'll have to keep
Yeah, we
it
lost
alive.
the screen.
All right. So is it still off the screen? Or?
Yeah, it's still a black kind of phone thing.
All right, let's see. Go back here and reshare it.
Yep, you're back.
Okay. All right. So, ultimately, the goal is for all members of the community of the school to feel empowered, heard, free on a number of different levels, whether it be through conflict resolution, whether it's through a need for funding to further their business or create a new sub-corporation of the school, or whether it's for organizing a field trip or a sleepover or something like that. There are a number of different areas that, essentially something like a DAO, as we'll see, is a very good fit for this model. So the second aspect of it is that decentralized education needs a decentralized monetary system and vice versa. And as more and more children and teens are introduced to the world of crypto, its original intent and modern innovations, we're hoping the greater real world adoption will become something that is furthered as
Robert,
students.
we lost your screen again.
So again,
We lost your screen again. So what I'm going to do is share screen because I have your presentation, and just tell me when to switch.
oh, okay, great. I'll do that. Okay, is it up already?
Is it good now?
Let's see. it's not maximized. I don't know if that's. But I guess I can continue.
Yeah, everyone can pin it to their Google Meet if they want it to be bigger, I believe.
Okay.
Just, yeah, keep going.
All right. So the hope, by starting off while students are young, from ages of 4 all the way till sometimes 21, they'll go through this system, the school that we have, and other schools like it, and have exposure to the nature of a DAO, to the nature of crypto, and how that intersects with other aspects of society like their school, and that they will then potentially teach their parents, their friends, and so on. It will just be second nature to them. And they will have their own wallets, of course, and they would keep that after they graduate. And so, there are thousands of Sudbury democratic and independent learning institutions around the world. So with the development of School DAO, this will be available to them as well. And each of them can then seek, individual assistance with Clarity DAO and labs for integration. In terms of sustainability, the schools spend tens of thousands on SMSs, otherwise known as school management systems, that essentially function as a centralized, non-autonomous organization. So moving forward, these funds can be used to fund an actual school DAO as opposed to what is presently implemented. So in essence, then the structure of the school DAO can also be adapted for use in business in local governments such as cities and townships. And that's kind of an important point here as well, because the nature of school is that it functions as a micro society. Next slide, please. So just to give a very brief overview of the philosophy of Sudbury School, the whole premise is that children are treated as people, that there's democracy, that they're allowed to engage in their curiosity, and that the education is decentralized. And we'll see further what each of these points mean. So
Robert, I'll give you 1 more minute. We're over time a little bit.
We are? Oh, no. All right. Well, I'm going to skip over that and go straight to the DAO itself. And so the structure of the school is there's the school meeting, committees, corporations, clerks, clubs, businesses. And each of these are some examples of what, next slide, please. Each of these are just a few examples of the possible clerks. The next slide. And then there are the committees, and each of the clerks will preside over one of the committees. Next slide, please. And the corporations are independent of that because clerks and committees are functions of the school meeting or extensions of them, whereas corporations are basically student-run aspects of the school and receive funding through the school meeting. So skip 2 more slides. All right, so in this rendition of School DAO, we have a treasury, currency, governance, voting, sub-DAOs and working groups, and digital ID. These are all aspects of Clarity DAOs, what's presented in their white paper version 1.5. And sub-DAOs are key for aspects like the committees and the corporations, clubs, and also student businesses, and how that then might intersect with the treasury. Next slide. So as we can see, there are aspects of it that exist in the real world and aspects of it that should be on-chain. To do this, we may need an oracle, like to function as an adapter, such as Charlie 3 potentially. Next slide. Here's an example of how ArtCorp would function in connection with the DAO, with receiving funds via the treasury, then getting supplies, that's the outer world, then there are NFTs, and then businesses that come out of ArtCorp. Next slide, please. I think we should be able to sum it up very quickly here. So going down, then we see kind of a future look at, once the initial Clarity DAO vision is existing, then there's already some mention of a Tala prison. But potentially, we're thinking if it were possible, it would be ideal, and as part of School DAO's vision to include, integrating with the best that the Cardano ecosystem has to offer, maybe IMX instead of a Tala Prism, but we're not certain of that. But Charlie 3, ADA handle, Iagon, and NMKR, JPEG store, NewM, and these are particular integrations that we feel that School DAO could use to kind of pull together all aspects of the functioning of the school. For example, with the school management system kind of existing on Iagon and so on, using Charlie 3 to get data back and forth from the real world to the on-chain world of the DAO. Next slide, please. This is the last.
I'm gonna have to cut you off. We're at like 10 minutes here.
Oh yeah. Oh, so sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm sorry to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'll give you you can close it out with a sentence or two.
All right. Well, basically, just that there are, we are aware there are some challenges that exist, such as whether DAOs can be upgraded and what that looks like, how future integrations would work to an already existing DAO, and the fact that we would prefer to have DID-based voting rather than stakeholder-based voting. And that, I guess, that pretty much sums it up. Other than that, we have this vision that hopefully all of this can come together in such a way to further the whole crypto ecosystem, and Cardano in particular, with what is offered so far and all of the unique projects that already exist. And we'd be happy to work with other DAOs, and I see the amazing talent and ideas that have already come forward, and we're definitely wanting to interact with so many of them. With that being said, I guess we could open to questions if we have any time for that.
Yeah, we'll take one or two comments from judges, and then we will go on to Ratstow and Diego.
Just Chris, I'll jump in. I guess I would say if you make it to the next round, you're going to have to tighten up your presentation first, because you really want it a little bit more punchy so we can get what your point is. I think my question is what in a sense or two makes you feel that schools are a good place for DAOs to operate, and is it used in the classroom with the kids or just with the adults? I'm not sure how you splice it out between those groups.
Yes, should I answer that question, Logan?
Yeah, go ahead. Try to keep it short.
Okay, yeah. So I had to skip over all the information about the nature of the type of schools that this would be for. but it would be for Sudbury schools, democratic schools, and independent learning institutions. And essentially, the students have an equal vote to the staff, and the students are free enough where they get to choose what their time. So there's no one who has authority over them while they're here. And so with that being said, students get to vote on spending and other activities at virtually every aspect of the school's existence. And that's why a DAO would be a great fit, and how it intersects greatly with the idea of decentralized education interfacing with a decentralized monetary system, and them coming together in the form of a DAO.
Awesome. I'm gonna cut it off there, but Robert, let's chat in the Discord and organize a call, because I think it's a great idea, and you already have a school that is thinking in this type of way. So I want to work with you to tighten up the pitch to make sure you can communicate the vision properly, because I really do think it's a good one. Without further ado, I will give the stage to Diego and Rats DAO.
Hello, how you doing, everybody? Well, let's
Welcome.
start. Welcome. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Rats DAO. First of all, the point I want to make in this conversation is that even though we start the project like having this aim to create a DAO, right now we are not only working on the DAO side, but also as a broader ecosystem. But let's go first to the Rats DAO. Rats DAO is being created last Christmas, actually, the 23rd of the last December. That's where we create that Rats DAO, and it went pretty fast into quite a big DAO. And I guess that was because we had a very simple idea. We wanted to provide access to blue chip NFTs to those people that cannot afford to invest in these kind of assets. And if they can afford to buy, let's say, a space bat or climate or something like that, they could only hold one single asset or just a few NFT assets, and that is not a well diversified decision from a financial perspective. So that's why we create this DAO to create this big fund of ADA that will try to buy only blue chip NFTs. Of course, there is a whole discussion about what is blue chip, what is not blue chip. Right now, it's up to the DAO. The DAO makes its own decisions. Its members make proposals and then decide what to do. All of that so far is done by Discord. So from an infrastructure perspective, we cannot say we are a fully DAO because we are not running on a smart contract yet. But we are working on that, and we are evolving as the rest of the Cardano ecosystem. Right now, we have almost 4,000 active wallets that hold the NFTs, and some of them make decisions over Discord. We even changed the constitution of the DAO a few months ago when we released the white paper 2, and that was a very political event within the DAO because everybody could have the opportunity to express their feelings, the ideas, and their preference into the white paper version 2, which is the one that runs the DAO at the moment. But Rats DAO as a DAO start to evolve. We understand that in order to bring adoption and to support the network, we could not only just work from the NFT side. So we start creating different teams and different projects, like a stake pool, which is called OneMate. This stake pool is working pretty closely with Rats DAO. Then we also create a Rats Lab to promote the minting of new NFT collection. Rats DAO only tries to buy and hold blue chips, and so that's narrows our activities. So we try to create some flexibility. So we create Rats Lab, and we actually launched a few collections so far. And then we wanted to move even further, and we create another protocol that is called Maze. This is the newest protocol, and this is more a financial protocol, we can say. But in the end, all of this is part of the Rats DAO ecosystem. At least is the way we see it. The founders and some of the core team members of this amazing project. So I would be very short. So I'm just here to answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Diego. We'll open it up to panelists.
Hey, Diego, this is Chris. I think we met at Rare Bloom and talked a little bit about Maze. Good to see you again. Is this, I mean, this is a very diverse project. So is there one, is the vision to have sub DAOs for different projects? Or are you independent DAOs on each one of them? I guess that's what I'm trying to get a feel for.
No, they are independent DAOs. Each DAO has its own members, but they work together as an ecosystem. As well, we are trying to do in Cardano, trying to collaborate and to find for synergies, but keeping some flexibility to make decisions. As you may know, making decisions within a DAO can be challenging, and in Rats DAO is a big DAO, so it's kind of hard to act fast and to be legitimate at the same time.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'll let others ask questions.
Hey, Diego, what's your vision for kind of community, and how do you think about kind of what a good successful community looks like, and how does that inform the way that you structure the DAO? Okay.
Since I get into this ecosystem in general, not only for Rats DAO or Cardano, I've been educating people through a podcast, and I finally create a little community, but very well knowledgeable about crypto economics, crypto the tech stack in a high level. So I guess one of my ideas is to educate people and to bring more people, but that adoption, I would like to call it not from a FOMO perspective, that most of us are here because of some bull run. I try to bring people into the ecosystem and to form communities from another mindset, like seeing Web3 as a long-term investment for yourself, for your career, or for your own balance sheet, so to speak. So a successful community for me is a community that has some knowledge about what is decentralization, what means to have a protocol decentralized, what is non-custodial, permissionless. So the basic concept that I guess brought most of us here into this industry. I like people to have knowledge to make their own decisions in an informed way. That for me is a good community.
Thanks, Diego. I appreciate that answer.
Thank you.
I was going to ask something similar, so that works out well. Just information sharing and education obviously is something that you are focused on, given the last answer. Now, one thing that I'm curious about is how are you matching that with, say, content and website and other things? Because when I go to...
Excuse me, I lost the
Sorry. When I must have hit the button. When I go to your try and go to your website, it doesn't work. So that doesn't look good for information sharing personally. I'm just wondering if how that's going to be updated in order to make sure all the information is available for everyone in your community.
If you're referring to redsdao.io, we have a problem yesterday with one of the servers. But if you're referring to other web page, I know
that one.
Okay, no, we just had a problem the other day. Federico was making an update, and there was a problem with something, and he was traveling. Well, this like the things that can go wrong. Well, something like that happened. But the RedStyle community has all the information within Discord. The webpage is always up and running, and actually we try to do some AIMA every time in a while. Right now we are providing some content through a few courses. We are going to within the RedStyle community, trying to provide some utility to the RAD token. So for us, the content is pretty important, and I can tell you that the web page always works. It's just bad luck, I guess. I'm going to try right now, but now let me see. No, it's not. I guess it's not working right now. But this is bad luck.
Bad luck, bad luck. I've visited his work before. I'll leave 5 more seconds for anyone to chime in if any other panelists want to ask any questions.
I'll just say the website's working for me.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I
thank
can
you.
see it as well.
But yesterday we have a problem. I know that, but I didn't know if it was solved or not.
Could just be mobile, but thank you for your answer.
No, thank you, Damon.
Awesome. Thank you, Diego. And with that, we'll move on to Trip Hut. I will share screen for you right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have it up for me there, Logan. I'll start the pitch. All right. Greetings, everybody. My name is Jamin Jones from Yard Labs Limited, the founding entity of TripHut. So what is TripHut? TripHut is a travel club and DAO managed by a DApp that sends its members on free or discounted vacations. Logan, you can just move to the next slide for me. All right, so that's, there we go. All right, so just to summarize again, just to ensure that we have it, it's a travel club and DAO that sends its members on free or discounted vacations. All right, so how does it work? Next slide for me, Logan. All right, it works using 3 models. Model A, travel bursaries. Model B, community purchase real estate. And Model C, third-party relationships. Now, let me just go through really quickly and speak to each. So Model A, it's your classic DAO setup. You can think of it as a case of, let's say, Benjamin, you were to submit a travel request to the DAO. The travel request reads, or in the video that you submitted, it says, okay, I've never left maybe the US before. I'd like to see what it's like in the Caribbean. For that batch of travel requests, if the community decides that, hey, this person is the most deserving of this week's or this allotment, then you're selected on a relative majority vote basis, and the funds are dispersed to the submitting wallet. But you might be thinking to yourself, okay, nice, but that doesn't scale. That's where Models B and Model C comes into play. So Model B and Model C, again, is how we provide value at scale. So Model B, if you can think of it, if you guys are familiar with Constitution DAO, broadly speaking, the concept was, okay, as individuals, we can't afford this single asset. Let's come together, pool funds, be able to buy it. It's exactly the same concept, but applied to real estate. In our case, specifically, beachfront property or a boutique hotel. Now, why are we doing this? Think of it like this. And by the way, just to give you guys some color, it's reasonably priced here in Jamaica. There's actually 36 acres of beachfront property available for 1.4 million USD. If we were to pool funds, we could do something really cool. We could build out an experience, a comprehensive experience. And let's say we have 5 units, just for argument's sake, and we lease 3 units to the wider public. I see a comment, but we'll come to that a little later. Let's say we have 5 units and we lease 3 to the wider public, a classic Airbnb or boutique hotel model. We found that if those 3 rooms are 70% booked, it covers the expenses for all 5 rooms, leaving us 2 rooms to be able to gift to the community for free. So let's say the intention is to build 35 rooms. We have quite a bit to be able to gift to the community. And not only that, but we'd be able to pass on discounts because we own the inventory. We'd be able to pass on discounts to all members in the event that the allotment for free rooms have been allocated or used. Now, Model C, if somebody were to ask me, okay, all right, back to how you scale value. In the typical way that a travel club works, we would partner with third-party holders of inventory or even third-party entities that collate inventory to be able to pass on discounts to members. So it's diversified. It's not just value in Jamaica from the real estate that the DAO owns, but value worldwide. All right, next slide for me, please, Logan. All right, so why does it matter? Next slide, please. All right, so Cardano needs real-world use cases if it is to gain real-world adoption. And just like as a footnote too, like in terms of like a real-world problem, most people can't afford to travel outside of their own country. Our solution can help. Next slide for me. All right, so meet the team. It's myself, Jamie Jones, an award-winning marketer. I spent most of my career developing membership-based products. My other co-founder, Randy Burrell, former chief technical officer for 3 international Web3 companies, the most recent being Paperchain Inc. and Tassen. He's a Haskell dev. Halloween White as well. He's also another co-founder, chief creative. He'll be the one responsible for helping us convey complex concepts very simply, very easily for the wider public, not just the community. And then the last slide now, Logan. All right, so with your permission, we could onboard thousands into the Cardano ecosystem. Vote Triplet. Thank you.
Amazing. That was exactly 5 minutes. Appreciate it. We'll take comments from the panelists, and then we will wrap up because I don't think Esmer is here, which is unfortunate.
Jamie, and so would you use a DAO for certain members that are buying and they want to put in the money to buy the properties, and then a different DAO for members that want to participate in the travel more? I mean, I guess you see a couple of business models that you're pushing together, which is great. I mean, that's what we're all doing with blockchain. So maybe you could speak a little bit to how those 2 concepts meet in your app.
All right, so the DAO, which is token gated by an NFT, that's not necessarily, okay, let me start with this. There's both a non-fungible token and a fungible token. The non-fungible token acts as what token gates the DAO itself. So that's what you'd buy to become a member. The model now in terms of how the fungible token comes along is it acts as a multiplier to governance. So if you have one NFT, but you hold like a certain number of fungible tokens, it multiplies governance. So it's one DAO, even though it uses several concepts. There is a real world leg that might not necessarily be governed by a DAO, but important to note is that the money is made from it comes back to the DAO. So while the operations has like a real world element, everything that's dealt with on-chain, so i.e. the fungible token and a non-fungible token, how the travel brochures are done, how proposals are submitted and handled, it's all one DAO. Let me know if that answers the question. If not, rephrase it.
It sounds like the property might be independent from and not DAO controlled, and that makes sense. So yeah, that does answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. No problem.
One more question, which is, have you or anyone on the team ever run a property management or hotel business? It's just operationally intensive and complicated, and I'm wondering how you manage some of the details of the operations on chain.
Great question, Luke. So we're actually onboarding another co-founder that's been managing hotels his whole career. So in terms of the real world leg element, he'd be the one in charge of that. From the membership experience side, myself, and then from the technical side, and then the story side, it would be the other two co-founders that you see on the team. And I should say what I showed earlier today is just the team. We have a lot more people now. We have a lawyer on the team as well. Administrators. It's about 10 to 15 of us at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Problem, sir.
Just a short comment going into the next round. It would be good to see that the sort of following on from Luke's comment that there's some thought put into operational overhead. It seems like there's a lot of focus on giving away rooms or discounted rooms, but keep in mind there's likely some property tax involved and like upkeep on the building itself that may play in. I'm not saying you haven't done the work. I'd just like to see more of it.
Understood. My hope was to keep maybe the pitch high level. So in our documentation, in the appendix, we actually have like the build outs, including like breakdowns, actual costing in terms of projected costs from property taxes to maintenance, the works. We did do the legwork, but I'll see what I can do, Lord willing, if I make it to the next round.
It's great that that's already in your package. I'll take a look.
All right, no problem. Cool.
I've got one question as far as property ownership. If people are purchasing these, is this done within what method is doing this on blockchain? Is this dealing with an NFT of ownership? And if so, how are you getting that past regulations? Is it allowed in these areas or is it not? Because I know some people are trying to do this in other countries and the NFT doesn't actually hold up to the local standards for what's actually allowed legally.
Yeah,
for title deeds and ownership and whatnot.
Great question. So what we did up front too. All right. So first of all, let me say that the regulatory environment in Jamaica is more relaxed. That being said, it's not definitive. So there are some things that we are optimizing for should it go in a particular direction. So the DAO itself is actually registered. The legal structure that we went with was a limited liability company here in Jamaica. The reason being, we wanted it to be the case where the DAO from the company standpoint could actually own the property rather than it being up in the air. So from a legal standpoint, we're allowed to own the property. Now the NFT itself is more so, it's a utility token. And the utility is not necessarily that you own the property, but it's that you get to benefit from its amenities. So it's not that you purchased real estate exactly when you bought into the fungible token or the non-fungible token. You bought into the benefit, the utility of being able to stay there for free or at a discount. So legally, there isn't obscurity. We've handled it from like the IRL rails and like what the expectation is on a regular standpoint. Should there come clarity, we may be able to change things, but as is, that's how we've structured it. And
Gotcha.
a bit important too, because there's been a precedent now being set where if you're a token holder and somebody sues the DAO, the holder in the specific jurisdiction is the one that's liable. So let's say we start this in Jamaica, but we didn't have the correct legal structure and somebody decides to sue, it would be the person in that person's jurisdiction that would be held liable. So to kind of remove those kind of obscurities, we went a different direction that's not, I guess, traditional to customary DAOs or DAOs as we know it. So I hope, long-winded, but I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. It does. It's more I guess a subscription model situation than it is an ownership situation. You're more still centralized on that side of things. But yes, it does answer the question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Good answers to some hard questions, Damien. Well done. So I will, I'll pause for 5 seconds if anyone wants to chime in before we wrap up. Alrighty, well, that will do it for the last session of the first round of the Clarity DAO pitch competition. Thank you to all the DAOs who presented today and to the panelists. We really appreciate your guys' time. Seriously, the thoughts that you guys and perspectives you guys add is very valuable to all these early stage DAO projects. So thank you guys, and make sure that you get the NFTs, cast your votes, get influence on who moves on to the next round. And we're excited to see how this shakes out. So thank you guys, and I'm going to stop the recording and we'll see you next time. The final is on November 16th.
All right. Thanks, Logan.